welcome to episode 72 of Checkpoint Chat. It's becoming to that point where you don't remember the episode names, just like your birthday.
The numbers just start to blur into each other.
Mm-hmm. It's just like another episode. Oh, it's another birthday.
It's another birthday. We're 72 years old, ready for retirement now.
Do you often, when people ask you your birthday, do you like have to take a moment nowadays?
No, I've never had that problem.
People like, how old are you?
How do you forget?
I'm just like 26, 27, that's right.
Okay, but wait, Allah. Maybe I have paused sometimes, but I was born in 88, therefore I'm 30.
Yeah, you do quick math.
But my head maths is relatively strong, so it's like, how old are you? 31. It's like instant, so yeah, I don't know. But
it's weird.
You're still a spring chicken though.
As a kid, you kept reminding people, you're like, I'm 13. You didn't ask 13.
As a kid, you're like, how can you forget how old you are?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
birthdays are the best.
It's such a important part of your identity at that stage of life. Like, yeah, I'm a teenager. Yeah, I'm 16.
It's me against the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so important.
You turn 10, you're like, fucking double digits, man.
Oh, man. I'm big.
I'm big.
Going to big school now. And then you go to high school or whatever. And you realize, like, no, I'm little again.
I'm little again, yeah. And then you go to varsity.
You go to varsity, like, I'm going to big school now. And like, I suppose, you're little again, but it's varsity's varsity. Like, everyone sort of does their own thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's not so much an issue there. Although, like, in my final years of varsity, whenever I went on campus, like in February, March, and, there were the new students there, I'm like, did I look that small when I started?
Yeah, that's the one thing, actually, I must say, regardless of if it's primary school or high school, like, was I that little when I started primary school or high school? Because it's like high school is a perfect example. Then people look little.
Yeah, and you never think of yourself like that.
No, when you're that age, like, yeah, I'm 13. I'm a big kid now. No, you little.
I'm the shit.
You got a long way to go.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just like, even hear them talk, you're like, I was never that immature.
Was my voice that high pitched?
Oh yeah. Yours never was.
I'm a
clearly,
big kid
yeah.
now. No, what did I sound like when I was little?
You came out of the womb with a broken voice.
With an afro and a good morning.
Yeah. And your mom's like, whoa, this is a Matty.
I was a big baby, apparently. I was nearly 4 kilos.
Wow.
My brother as well.
Wow.
And my mom's little.
And now you guys are both lanky.
And she did natural birth. So
that must have been not fun.
No.
Not fun
And we're both tall now. My mom's teeny tiny.
Your dad must have been super tall.
We were both a little bit taller than him, but he was tall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we were both taller than he was. I don't know where. We somehow ignored the typical Portuguese gene of being short. Short and round.
Like my dad's pretty short, and my mom's...
Your dad's not round, though.
No, yeah. My mom's relatively tall, but I'm taller than both of them by like a fair margin, because my grandfather was really tall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't you shrink the older you get, though?
I don't know. He didn't shrink. His posture just got really bad.
Maybe.
But man, if he stood up straight, that dude is huge. So yeah,
like Andre the Giant. Thanks for being my grandfather.
Like tall, yeah, about as tall as you actually. Thinking about it, yeah. So I inherited that gene.
So we the anomalies in this Portuguese gene pool.
Yeah, because your mom is proper Portuguese size.
She's Portuguese size. So when you go to a clothing store, you get a small Portuguese sized, medium, large.
Yeah, it's in between. It's definitely in between, because small is too small.
Small is way too small, yeah. Can I have an extra Portuguese size, please?
There's some old ladies in Portugal that remind me of like Russian nesting dolls. They're just tiny.
You open their mouths and another one comes out like, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, oh Jesus. What's happening here in Portugal?
It's a real life babushka doll.
Is that what they call babushka dolls?
I think it's a babushka doll, yeah.
I've always just called them nesting dolls.
Are we thinking about the same thing? This one you open, there's a little, I think it's a babushka doll.
Okay, I mean, that sounds far more Russian than nesting dolls.
You know, if you say anything confidently enough, like, yeah, it's a babushka doll, then you pass it on to Shani and say, yeah, it's a babushka doll. And then Shani tells her parents, and then this is how lies start. Okay. The next thing you know, the world's in ruin.
Starts, yeah.
Babushka. Oh, wait.
Babushka? You were wrong, weren't you?
I'm a bit wrong. Babushka is it's Russian for an old woman or grandmother.
Oh, okay.
So, babushka doll.
So related to what we were talking about.
Oh my god. Oh wait, no, I'm not wrong. Okay, so it is Matryoshka dolls, also known as babushka dolls.
And not
stacking dolls, nesting dolls. Okay, so we're both right.
Okay, cool.
Geez, like these things have a lot of names. Russian tea dolls or Russian dolls are the set of wooden dolls decreasing in size.
They're so cool. I love them.
They're very
it's
cool.
Just like,
Lenska's parents have a set in the house.
The one that always got me was, I think it was in Toy Story, where there was a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
They all like collapsed into each other.
Yeah, but that wasn't a babushka doll. That was just the same premise.
It was the same premise, but I think it was like a monster or a dog or something. It was very funny. Yeah.
No, speaking of Toy Story, have you seen Toy Story 4?
I haven't. I actually forgot that movie came out. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, and people are like, yeah, it's real good.
I mean, Toy Story 3 was fucking real good. It made me want to cry, that movie.
Toy Story 3
good.
Toy Story 3 had no business being that good because
really
as far as sequels go, I mean, look, you get good sequels, but generally by the third, fourth, fifth movie, some stories lose their charm, characters, but Toy Story 3 was really good.
Toy Story 3 was damn good.
And then when Toy Story 4 came out, I was like, damn, I'm excited to watch it, but damn,
Yeah,
they're keeping the story going.
Because they kind of like wrapped it up in 3 so nicely. It was just like a good end,
Yeah.
A lot of people consider Toy Story 2 like one of the best sequels ever made, and I really don't like that film.
You don't like Toy Story? I watched it a lot.
I like the bad guy, Zorg, or whatever his name is.
Is it Zurg? I think it's Zurg, yeah.
Maybe it's Zurg. He shoots like little tennis balls.
Yeah. Well, I think back then, imagine, like even Toy Story 1 is just incredible how they did it, because let's just pause and think back to a time. So today, 3D animation, it's normal. We have PCs that can handle that, and it makes sense. We've got software. Back then, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
It was actually, I'm like almost done with a book written by one of the founders of Pixar, whose name eludes me now. I think it's called Creativity.inc or I think it's Creativity.inc.
The book,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a story of like where he started and then the founding of Pixar and like sort of how
Steve Jobs was involved in that?
Yeah, which was very interesting. And yeah, like there's a lot of small details that I'm not going to go into, but it's a very interesting story.
That sounds like a cool book. I want to read that.
It's like interesting and like I don't mean in a bad way, but it's interesting and very business focused, which I'm not too big on. But if you're like the leader of a team or you run a business, there's some good insights in there on like how to keep your staff creative and stimulated and how to just run a business in general. I really just thought it was like a history of Pixar.
Sort of like a console wars. But
like and there is that there definitely, but there's a lot of like him saying like this happened and this is how we solved it. And look, it's really interesting. But
I really want to read this now.
Yeah, that
sounds
God,
awesome.
you can steal it from me.
Yeah.
What I was getting at though is just how they did Toy Story. It's like there was no software and stuff for that at the time. They had to,
because 95.
They innovated that stuff, and it's incredible how. Like I just think, how did they do it? PCs back then, 3 decades. What is it like? 2.5 decades ago.
Yeah, it's
20-something years ago.
Yeah, 95 the movie came out, so yeah, 2.5 decades ago.
Think how old them PCs were. How did they render and output that stuff?
I mean, you weren't even doing. I mean, that was just really the dawn of 3D games. Was around then.
Yeah.
And you think of that. That was a great time in gaming where you really look forward to cutscenes because the cutscenes looked way better than the games.
That's Final Fantasy VII was one of them where. Yeah, it was weird because there was sort of 3 different looks to that game where the overworld was the blocky characters, whatever. Then the fight screen was normal looking characters, but then the cutscenes were like beautiful, like holy shit.
Open world in inverted commas stuff was great because it was like that hand-drawn art. And
good.
that now, like you can see it especially in that game how that sort of art style stands the test of time, but old polygonal 3D stuff does not age well at all.
It really does.
That's why when everyone's like, oh, we should get a classic Nintendo 64, classic this, I'm like, you do not know what you're asking for. That shit's not
you know what I wouldn't mind? Like if they did a Mario 64, but they sort of gave it like an Odyssey look and feel, or like that'd be pretty cool.
Or like they did with the Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. They took it and made it look nice.
Yeah. Made it look nice.
I mean, the original Ocarina of Time still looks pretty interesting.
No, those visuals are dated. Like
they're dated.
There's a difference between a game. I'm trying to think of an example. There's some games, like here's a perfect example: the Resident Evil 1 remake. Okay, that Resident Evil 1 came out in like 96, 97, and in the early 2000s they remade it from the ground up, and that game still holds up today. You look at it, you're like, damn, that like it looks like a modern game.
I still need to play the version on PS4. Apparently it's pretty
good. That's the proper remake. It's really good. But that game still holds up because it is a combination of like the way, how they do Resident Evil. So static environments, which they don't have to like render them out. Yeah. So it's like, it's a fixed, really pretty looking environment. you play that today, it looks like a modern game. Still,
it's actually why something like God of War. I remember reading an interview. I don't know if it was with Corey Barlog or David Jaffe, but they were saying that because the first 4 God of Wars, they also had fixed cameras. You could not rotate the camera, or whatever. And that's what allowed them to make the game look really, really good. Because they knew exactly what the camera was looking at, and they could cull everything outside of that. And because the player could never rotate it, they never had to worry about, we've got to de-render this and re-render this. Like, that's how they pushed it.
It makes you wonder, like, what's going to happen in 10, 20 years when we look back. Are we also like, that game doesn't hold up visually? Well, I somehow doubt it because games are surprisingly lifelike.
This is why I always like stylized visual aesthetics over like realistic ones, because realistic ones age really poorly.
Yeah,
but
true.
Stylized ones, like if you play Bioshock now, even if you go back to like Infinite, which is 7 years old, that thing looks like it could be a modern game.
Yeah.
Because it's just so overly stylized. It looks really good.
But then you also get God of War, which is like the modern God of War, which
it blends
it's not,
the two almost.
Yeah, it's not stylized, but it's lifelike, but it's got a style over it. I reckon that game's going to look good.
Oh, yeah.
Because today, it was like, damn, it's a pretty game.
Yeah, it blends the like... Yeah, I think when I say realistic, I think like... Go back and play the original Modern Warfare. Like that game at the time was like, holy shit.
And I was just thinking that when games came out back in the day, I was like, wow, graphics will never get better than this. We're like on the cusp of ray tracing. And so my only experience with that is Control. And when you put it off, it's like, like ray tracing is that big enough difference that is the next jump. So
I'm super excited that at least Sony has announced that
they're going to have ray tracing.
Yeah, they're going to have hardware-based ray tracing, and I don't think people realize. I mean, I think Nvidia fluffed the messaging a little bit when they first announced it, but now that people actually have games to play with it, like people who haven't tried it don't realize what a big jump it is.
But that's the thing. Like it's only. I suppose it's the same as going from HD to 4K or from normal to HD, where back then it was, this is too lifelike. And you can't go back now.
Yeah, no, like you said in Control, the lighting is just something else.
Did you see that video Nvidia dropped where they like, not remaking, they've given Quake 2 ray tracing? I can't believe it. I played that game. Cool. I played that game as a kid a lot. And I look at it and I'm like, holy shit, wow.
I tried it and it's so much fun.
Is it out already?
Yeah, so you can get a demo off of Nvidia's website.
Okay.
And if you own Quake 2 on Steam, you can just
do
link
the whole
file
thing.
And it'll do the whole thing.
It's incredible. That game is, what, like 20 years old? Maybe not that old. Maybe
actually.
Like 15-ish. I don't know. When
I think
did
it's
Quake
about
2?
20.
You reckon it's 20?
Yeah.
That is a 20-year-old game. Look, it doesn't look like Modern Warfare or whatever, but just the fact that it's like flipping a switch, you're like, damn, ray tracing makes this game look a whole lot better.
And Nvidia, not to get into news, but they opened up a studio now that is focused just on those sorts of projects, like taking old games and adding ray tracing.
That's cool.
And they said their next project they're announcing soon, and it's a game everyone loves. So a lot of people that I've seen...
Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, people think it's Half-Life 2. I'm like,
ooh.
I would play Half-Life 2 with ray tracing.
Yeah, I would play it too, but then we'd also be like, damn, Half-Life 2 has aged poorly. Well, maybe it hasn't.
Could you imagine something like Portal with ray tracing?
Oh my gosh.
Like the lasers and the Portal colors.
How does it work though? Because I mean, obviously it's not a thing of, ray tracing equals on and then the magic happens.
They need to go into there and do some hectic work to get it to work. Yeah, it's not like you said. It's not just, again, Nvidia's like, you just turn it on and it works. It's like, no, that's not how it fucking works. No.
Yeah, there's some back-end stuff that they're doing.
Yeah, like lots of hectic stuff to optimize it and everything.
Half-Life 2 would be interesting. I'd 100% replay that.
I want... Oh, now Doom Eternal's coming out next year, but I'm hoping that the version on PC has some ray tracing features, because that game looks stunning. So,
damn, Daniel.
This Checkpoint Chat. Talk about video games.
We blur introductions with graphics cards.
Yes.
And visuals.
Yes.
Toy Story.
Toy Story's good. Yeah, we got from Toy Story to ray tracing.
Well, that is a journey. Take me back.
What have you been playing?
So this week, I'm still playing Titanfall 2. I'm nearly done with that game, but I haven't had the chance to just sit and like put 2 hours into it. I've played 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, sort of a mission at a time.
Okay.
Whenever I get a moment. So I'm not going to delve into that because we'll talk about it when I'm done with this. But really good game, let me tell you.
Has it got to the second oh my god part?
No,
yet?
not yet.
Okay,
no.
yeah, I think that's like right by the end. So
I'm doing a lot of Titan fights and it's a lot of fun.
It's good.
So much
it's
fun.
A good game.
So this week we got a Jackbox 6 that came out.
Oh yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Jackbox is basically every Jackbox is a collection of mini games, but it's multiplayer, focused on like party. It's party games.
It's a party
basically,
game, yeah.
Where anywhere from 2 to 8 people will play a game that's got weird rules or different stakes, whatever. So in previous Jackboxes, for example, you'll get a game that's
like Quiplash.
Like Quiplash, where what is Quiplash is?
Quiplash.
You're given like a scenario, almost like a horrible thing to say to someone on their deathbed.
Yes,
let's say,
yes,
okay,
and
then you have to write a response, and it could be like funny or serious. Well, I mean, generally you want it to be funny.
And got to read the room to see how hectic you can get.
Yeah, it depends who you're playing with. Yeah. But you'd answer that, and then your answer will go up against someone's, and then people vote for who's their favorite.
Yes.
So it's games on that note, and Jackbox 6 is just the latest in that franchise, and it's got a whole collection of new games, which is really cool.
So
Although
cool.
the one game there, they've got the trivia murder party trivia.
Yes, the one in the murder house.
Yeah, so there's like
that was in like 3 or 4.
I think it was 3. So there's a new version of that.
Oh yes.
And the premise of that is all the players are in like a murder motel, and the dude there puts you through a whole lot of tests, and everyone slowly dies off.
I love it.
And yeah, the collection of games are incredible. And so that was in Jackbox 3, but now they've updated this one. So there's a bunch of new mini games. The premise is still the same though. It's everyone dies one by one.
Yeah, because if you get answers wrong, then you get pitted in mini games against other people getting
And the goal ultimately is to escape this motel, and only one person can escape.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
But they've done some like twists on it with it's just a whole lot of new mini games. So for example, I find it hilarious. I almost made it to the end of the one round we played. I was the second or third last person to die. So before you do the mini game, though, they give you like a general knowledge question of like, who's the president of South Africa, let's say, and you'll get 3 options. If you get it right, you go on to the next round. If you get it wrong, you put into a mini game where you have to pass certain conditions, else you die. You become a ghost.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds very complicated, but when you're playing it, it's actually very simple to understand.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting the question. I was the only one who got the question wrong. And I had to obviously fight for my life by doing a mini game. And the mini game was I had to come up with a 4-letter password. Okay. So I could make up any word. And then the people who were dead had to try crack my password in a certain amount of time. If they didn't, I would survive to the next round. If they did, I would die. So I thought like that's really hard. Like there are lots of different 4-letter words.
Yeah, and you weren't limited with like your letter set.
No. So what they do though is that the ghosts had like 30 seconds to guess, and they could just keep guessing. If they got a letter right, they were told this letter is right. It's in the right place as well.
Oh, so like Mastermind almost.
Like Hangman. I thought it's more like
Hangman. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
So like I think I wrote hall, which I thought was a very random word. No one's gonna get. I was streaming it. So I asked people in chat to guess like what they thought my word would be, and its friends are like, it's probably cats or something. So I was like, no, you guys are wrong. And it was hall, and someone actually guessed it because I just guessed fast enough.
And they would keep getting letters.
And they'd keep getting letters. And now thinking about it, it was silly to do a word with a double letter because when they put L in,
boom, you get.
They're like, oh, the L's are at the end.
Should have make it help.
Yeah, something like that. It's a lot of fun.
You haven't explained how you actually play the game, so you don't use
controllers
or anything
so
like that.
what happens is someone will host a game, so only one person needs a copy of Jackbox. So let me paint a scenario. Okay, so you've got friends coming over, you've got Jackbox. Okay, you start it up on your PlayStation, runs on the TV. Everyone sits on the couch and they connect to the game with their phones. So you don't need like 8 controllers, for example.
There's like a unique code.
So what happens is Jackbox, you'll connect to the Jackbox server. You do need internet to play it. That's just the nature of the game. You connect to the Jackbox server, and then everyone has to enter the specific room code that you've generated.
Just through your browser.
Yeah, just through the browser, whatever. Yeah, so you play on your phone, and that's what works on Twitch, is because I just stream it, and it is cool because it's a combination of friends and colleagues tune into the stream and they played with me.
Yeah, anyone around the world can play essentially.
And the games are just very simple to understand, and it's a lot of fun.
There's one that I played, I don't know if it was in 4 or 5, but it's one where you're given a sentence with like a missing answer or something, and your objective is to everyone puts in like an answer to the question.
Yeah.
And then all of their answers are put onto the screen, and one of the answers is the correct
That's
answer.
fibbage.
Yeah, but you need to convince people that your lie
is the right one. Yeah,
it's so good.
It's really good. So so that's not in this one. What? There are 5 games. So I know the murder mystery is one. There's one that's a bit like a werewolf.
Oh, okay. Where someone's a werewolf.
Yeah, but it's a bit more complicated in that this one you can actually play up to 10 people, which is quite hard because Jackbox games is normally about 8 people.
Yeah.
So the premise is that all of you are on a ship and there are aliens among you, and you have to figure out who the aliens are.
So it's not werewolf, it's aliens.
It's aliens.
Alien werewolf.
But the way you figure it out is that there are a whole lot of mini games that ensue that sort of help you figure out who's lying and who's telling the truth.
Okay.
So for example, one of the mini games is you'll be given you'll be asked to draw something, okay? But humans will be asked to draw something, and then the aliens will be asked to draw something else. But it'll be the way it works is that although they're different things, the premise will be very similar. So it's designed to make you think like, hang on, something's a bit off with this one drawing.
Oh, okay.
But the alien doesn't realize because they've just drawing whatever they're told to draw.
Yeah, because they get shown on their phone what they need to draw. They have no idea whatever.
Yeah, so it's just up to people to pay attention. Like, oh, that's a bit off.
I
Maybe
love it. It's so good.
Although that one was a bit complicated to do over Twitch because we're not all in the same room.
Do you need to be for something like that?
It would help because if you can't really defend yourself on. So for me, I'm streaming. I can talk like no, this, that, whatever.
Oh, I see.
But if someone's like, you're the alien. And if you're sitting in the same room, you can be like, no, I'm not, and you can like lie or tell the truth. Whereas on Twitch, it's a bit
because everyone's disconnected.
Everyone's chatting. There's no actual voice.
Not everyone's streaming their voice. So it's only you connecting them. Really.
So that game doesn't work as well on Twitch. But I mean, not everyone's playing Jackbox on Twitch.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. Like, and how much is this new one?
On Steam. It was $170. It's
nice.
Nothing. But on console, it's super expensive. I don't know why. So like
because I'd love something like this for Switch.
Yeah. It's on Switch, but I don't know how much it is on Switch.
Because then you could just take
that'd actually
be
a good platform. Yeah. Because even if you're all looking at just a little screen.
Because everyone's playing on their phone. Essentially, you just need something to host the game. So you could be able to like take it everywhere. So.
Yeah. What is up with your dogs?
I don't know.
They're having a bit of an argument happening over there. Jeez, like they want to play Jackbox with us.
Hey.
Like, I'm sorry, I just wanted to play Jackbox. So yeah, I haven't gotten around to playing all the games yet. I've played 3 of them. So there's the murder mystery one, the murder motel one, the alien one, and then the only other one I've played. It's called I don't know if it's called Love Boats or Joke Boats or something like that. But the premise of this one is that all of you are on a ship and you're all comedians or something along those lines. Okay. You all have to tell jokes.
Okay.
But it's done in a way that...
This is like a prequel to the Joker movie.
Don't tell anyone. You'll be given a lot of prompts quickly before the game starts, like give us the name of a place, give us the name of a food. Okay. And then those inevitably get put into a pool that generates like opening lines for a joke.
Okay.
So we're like, the worst thing about pizza is ...
And you got to
and then
add the
your
punchline.
goal is to like add the punchline to it.
That's cool.
So it's a really cool spin, and it's similar to is it what do we say? It was fibbage or quiplash that you'll get pitted. One round you'll get pitted against.
It's like 2 players.
Yeah, you'll get 2 punchlines. Yeah. Oh yeah. So initially, I think you just have. Is it? Yeah, you do get pitted up against someone, but it's also really funny in that you get some wild opening lines, and then the punchlines are incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of an example. It's like one of them was like the worst thing about tornadoes was the setup. Okay, and someone finished it with like the worst thing about tornadoes is that you can't Dutch oven them.
What?
Which is like such a wild thing, but it's like you get such interesting setups, and people will finish it in clever ways.
That's the thing about Jackbox is like you've really got to read the room.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know how far can I take these jokes, because like sometimes you'll find something funny, but the people you're playing with are like not the type who will take like crude humor really
Yeah.
well, so you'll just lose.
Yeah, well, I mean, we play Jackbox at the office very often, and there's a very
That
fine
sounds like
line.
an HR nightmare waiting to happen.
There's a very fine line between, like, there's good tongue-in-cheek and tasteful humor, and then there's just crude to the point where it's like, if you're not the right
It's like you're
audience,
trying too hard.
You're trying too
almost.
hard, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, some penis
What's the worst
jokes
thing
can only
about
go so
a tornado?
far.
Poo.
Yeah, and it's like, nah,
okay,
like,
well,
come on.
That's funny.
But if you find the right audience or just like-minded people, it's so much
Yeah,
fun.
I find playing with people I know and have interacted with a lot more is better than strangers. But it is a
The thing
fun
is,
time.
it sometimes works because when I started streaming, I did a lot of Jackbox, and honestly, like, it wasn't difficult running a game with complete strangers because there are some good games that it just works. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, there's like I said, fine line between crude and acceptable, and like just plain like awful.
I mean, clever humor always works no matter what.
But you'll always find the people who win are the ones who are like, more witty and more like,
Because you're like, oh, that's smart.
it's
That's
like
clever.
intelligent humor.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's cool.
Jackbox
I
is,
really, if you stream it again, I want to come and join and play.
Thursday 9 p.m.
Thursday,
Yeah.
not Tuesday?
No, Tuesday we're playing Counter-Strike
Oh,
because
okay, of course.
because Zander, whose birthday it always is actually leaving the country. So
Why don't you play Jackbox while playing a game of Counter-Strike?
because that's impossible.
Like you have to flash while
No,
hitting-
'cause that's
hitting spawn
impossible.
Point B.
It's like the worst thing about tornadoes is rush B.
Yeah.
Defuse the ball. Yes, but I've streamed a couple of hours on Thursday, so I've only played those 3 games. There are 2 others. The one is I think it works similar to, is it Boulder Dash, where you have to come up, like, give random definitions to words. Where I think everyone in the room is given the same word, and you have to come up with a definition for it, and people vote for what they believe is the right definition.
I think that is Boulder Dash.
I think
yeah.
I think that game, it's called Dictionarium. I think that's a similar premise to Boulder Dash. And then there's a 5th game which I cannot remember, but it's good. Even just the joke game alone is a lot of fun.
There's a lot of good humor in
Yeah.
that game as well. Like I know when I played the murder mystery one in Jackbox 3 or 4, whichever one, the host or the guy that was trying
It's
to kill
good,
you
yeah.
is like there was a point when none of us were getting questions wrong, and he was basically just like, "Screw it, I need to do this." And
Yeah.
he just like puts 2 of you into like a death situation. You're like,
It's clever.
guess, yeah.
They've written and programmed, like, they've covered all their scenarios. And I mean, I haven't played Jackbox like every day or whatever, but the past ones I've never come across a situation where I'm like, I've heard this line before. I've heard this joke before. Oh, I've read this question before. They've like stacked
yeah,
it
it's
with,
not like playing a board game of 30 seconds where it's like if you've played.
I
it
know
enough-
this card.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you said that word. I know the other 4 answers.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No.
Fuck, I hate people who do that. Where the person doesn't even say anything and they just get all 5. And you're like, screw you.
Okay, so unrelated. We were talking about this week at the office, actually. Have you ever played a game of 30 seconds where people make up words on the card to cheat?
What?
Yeah. It's like, they'll be like the president of the ex-president of South Africa who wrote Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela, that tall building in Paris, the Eiffel Tower, and it's like,
That's some next level
yeah,
scum.
I've had that before. I'm like, hey, is that even on the card? Like, yes. Like, let me see, and it's like, no, it's not.
That's wild. I've never even thought of doing that.
And it's so easy to do. You can
Yeah,
come up
because
with
no one
anything.
really looks at the cards afterwards.
It's like that movie with the cars that, convert into machines or
Robots.
whatever. Yeah, it's like Transformers. Yes. The superhero who swings around, Spider-Man. Yes, you can
You're
just
like, wow, this is a
thumbsuck.
superhero
Yeah.
themed card. This is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
wild. That's happened to me once
You
or
are
twice.
next level scum if you feel you need to cheat at a family game like 30 seconds.
It's an innocent
Monopoly,
game.
that's fine. Monopoly is
You can swindle your mom or your little brother
Monopoly's
into paying
capitalism.
money.
It's not fair. But 30 seconds? That's
No,
a tried and
no,
true
no.
tradition. You don't fuck with that.
No.
My God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Then
So
you get
that's-
cowards who are like, we should play without the dice. It's like, no.
No. Real people play the dice.
Yeah, real people play with the dice. You got to add some random luck to it. Otherwise, it's just boring. I mean, who really cares if you're the smartest here? What I care
No.
about is if you're the smartest and always roll 2.
And always roll. Duh.
Duh. Like,
Come on.
come
Wait,
on.
shouldn't you roll 0?
Yeah, I know, but if they're really smart, they need to keep rolling 2 so they can stay back.
Okay, so stay in your lane.
Yeah, exactly.
have you
Shani's
been
really
playing?
bad at 30 seconds. She gets so flustered when she has to ask questions. It's very funny.
I know. Yeah, well, I hate it when you get a card, you actually have no idea
Yeah, you
what's
just
on
sit
it.
there, you're like, I don't know. And people are like, just try. And I'm like, try with what?
You have
I
to
don't
like
know.
really stretch it. It's like, it's a plant.
I'm gonna like fucking mime it out. Some people are good because they don't think about the thing that's on the card. They're just able to break up what they want you to
Right,
say
yeah.
in really clever
ways, yeah.
And people who are in sync with that annoy me as well because I'm just like, you're too good.
You guys are no fun.
Yeah, you guys are no
Instead.
fun. You're too
You're
good.
basically cheating by
You're not
being
even
so
doing
smart.
general knowledge. You're just like, you found a different language to
Yeah.
communicate in.
Damn.
Like, yeah.
So that's the 30 seconds.
30 seconds and 30 seconds.
There are 30 seconds and
It's your
30
new
seconds.
segment.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week.
Imagine
with more
playing a
30
game
seconds.
of 30 seconds
In
as
30
a podcast.
seconds?
Yeah.
You could probably do it.
Yeah, you could probably, I don't think it would be that entertaining,
No.
but it'll be. I mean, you
There's
could
the right
do it.
group of
You could
people, maybe.
podcast anything.
Okay, let's talk about my water.
It's
I drink it when I'm
completely
thirsty.
transparent.
Nice.
It's
Not vodka?
hydrating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's H2O.
It's cold.
It's cold. Yes, I made sure that's cold. Yeah.
Water supplies on Earth are running out.
Yes.
Oh!
Please stop wasting water. Please stop eating meat.
Oh no, stop it.
Drinking coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But back to games. There's
There's a great. You've watched that series Explained on Netflix, right?
I haven't watched you, but we were talking about this last week, the one about water.
Yeah, it's
I need to watch
fantastic. You need to watch it.
Yeah.
It makes me feel guilty for drinking coffee because it's like 14,000 liters of water go into the production of 1 cup of coffee,
it. That's insane.
which is not okay. That's not okay. Which is around the same as a hamburger, if I'm not mistaken.
You just give up water and coffee and hamburgers.
Yeah, it's scary because it's like then you realize like no matter how much you try and save water, if like companies don't change,
So
you won't make a fucking
companies are
difference.
changing though. Well,
Yeah.
most of them. Like, so I know we're completely unrelated here, but who was it the other day?
This is the Checkpoint environmental chat.
This is environmental chat from now on. Recently, a whole lot of restaurants have started coming out because one of the big things is like cut down on meat because it's causing environmental harm.
Huge, yeah.
So like Nando's has always had like a vegetarian option, but recently they came out and they've got like a whole menu of. You can
Yeah.
basically whatever they have on the menu, there's a vegetarian option.
Yeah, they actually do that, yeah.
But the one that blew my mind, which is completely unexpected, is that Spur. And now it's like, hey, we have a whole vegetarian range. I'm like, this is
That's interesting.
Spur is like the place you go to have a steak or a
fucking
burger
ribs
or ribs.
yeah.
For them to come out and be like, hey, we've got a whole vegetarian range.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like
It shows
next level,
you.
yeah.
It's like if I had to think 5 years back, like the options just on like getting quick food, you'd be stuck.
But even last night we went to a place in Santon called Trump's Grill. So my friend, our
best grill
friend
in the
Garrett
world, the
here
absolute
is
best.
here from the States, and he's like, we're gonna go do dinner there, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I messaged Lensk, I'm like, it's like a steakhouse. Sorry, I don't know what options there'll be. We arrived, they had a whole vegetarian section on the menu with burgers, and there was platters, and I'm like, that's cool. Like people have the option at least, which is nice.
Steers has always been the one that stands out to me because for the longest time, their entire menu is like, hey, we have these burgers and you can choose beef, chicken, or veg. Like, and it's been like that for years.
Yeah,
which is
but
kind of awesome.
like Spur, honestly, was a mind blowing. I was like, damn, that's next level. People are paying attention. And
Does Lenska like that veggie burger from McDonald's?
The spicy veggie burger. Yeah, I think she does like
really
it.
don't like
You
it.
don't like it?
When I tried, I just like. I
It
was like, this
depends.
is
I think
horrible.
our one in South Africa isn't the best. Like she doesn't mind it. I think she's like, yeah, veggie McDonald's burger. The one she had in Portugal or Poland, it was like a proper.
Is
like, I don't know, it was like a quinoa patty or something that was. She was like, it's different to what we have at
Quinoa's
home.
lovely.
Yeah.
Because when I tried the whole vegetarian spell, like the main thing was like I love burgers and fast food, and suddenly like my options are limited. Like I just said Steers, but Steers ones at least offers veggie, but they're not that good.
Yeah.
And then McDonald's only had the one burger, and it was fucking terrible. I hated it.
I know.
But like even the other day we went to Rokamama's and Lenska's like, oh, I don't like their patties, and I'm like, that's so odd
Because
my
your parents love them, yeah.
It's like a weird depends.
Depends on you.
Yeah.
So that's environmental chat. Tell us what you've been playing.
So I'll get to the bad first.
Oh no.
I've been playing this puzzle game called Felix the Reaper.
You were playing that on Switch.
Yeah,
okay,
I
I
think
saw
it
you
was on
playing that.
Sony's latest state of play as well.
Okay.
So like, it's a cool looking game. So you play as this guy called Felix who works for what they call the Ministry of Death. So he's like one of many grim reapers that comes into the world.
Okay.
And the whole premise is that you insert yourself into like the normal world, like mortal world, and time is frozen, and you are manipulating events so that you can set up deaths.
Oh, okay.
So think of like a game of like Mousetrap, like the board game, where each little piece is like a little puzzle for you to solve, and then at the end you click the ball,
and then it does it.
It all executes. Yeah,
that's a clever little premise.
It's really clever. Like, and it's made better because like Felix is really funny. He reminds me of have you seen Big Hero 6?
I haven't seen it, but I know Baymax.
Baymax. So he reminds me of Baymax. He's like big and marshmallow-like and fluffy, and he loves music. Like all the other Reapers thinks he's super weird, but he's always wearing headphones, and whenever he's carrying out his job, he's always dancing. So it's like this strange, like this macabre, like you are killing people, but also every time you move, he's like pirouetting and twirling and very funny and very likable. So the puzzles work where you've got like each level's like a grid, like square-based grid, and you can only move in the shadows. If you're in the sun, then you die.
So you're a vampire.
Yeah, I guess Grim Reapers can't be in the fucking sun or something. I don't know. And you have the ability to rotate the sun by 90 degrees.
You can rotate the sun?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's some next level Grim Reaping power.
Yeah, I don't know if you like fast forward time or something. I don't know. So you can rotate the sun, and based on where the sun is, you'll have shadows cast by objects.
Yeah.
And then you can move certain objects around to have them cast shadows, so you can move around the level. But that's like it. Like, that's the only mechanic that's introduced, and it's the only one that drives the game.
Use. Oh.
So you essentially, each level is like, oh, you need to move this item to this point. And that's like the next piece of the overall puzzle. And you've just got to figure out, well, first, how do I get to that item? Then move it around just in the shadows. And it was like, for the first two levels, I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, and I'm waiting for it to, puzzle game starts going, okay, you understand this. Let's layer it with something else. And it just never came.
It just never does.
Like, ever came. So eventually the levels just became like really, really complex, like really extended ones where I just had to move a lot of things in a specific order. Otherwise, I'd never be able to get to my objective. And like the puzzles were so inflexible that if I made a bad move, it wasn't the fact that I could fix it. I'd have to like backtrack the last moves, get to a point and be like, okay, let me try that again.
Okay, in a different way.
And it just
became irritating.
Yeah, extremely irritating, extremely frustrating. And by the second chapter out of 5, I was like bored. Like, damn. I was just like, I don't actually want to play this. Despite it being so cutesy and fun.
Yeah, it's sad because the premise, just from what you told me, that is a really cool premise.
It's
like
lovely,
you're a Grim Reaper, go kill people.
And it's got some great humor. Like really, really great humor. Like the setup for the first kill, it's like you're in an ice age, and you basically help these two hunters like hunt a deer, and then you help them mount the deer head on a shed, and then you use like a barrel to knock the deer head off the shed and onto one of the hunters. And then the other hunter notices him and throws his spear at him and kills him. Job done.
Okay. That's cool.
So it's like, it's cool, that setup, but I wish that setup was like, oh, I had to think of that solution. Instead, it's just like, move this thing to here. Oh, okay, cool. Move this thing to here.
It's sort of like, so just for comparison's sake, Portal, there are sometimes a number of different ways to solve the same puzzle.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're saying here's like, there's only one way. There's only one solution, and that's that.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's not like, oh, there's one solution, but there's multiple ways to get to that solution. It's like one solution, way. And if you do not move this specific thing to this specific point, you will not be able to solve this. To the point where the game even offers hints.
Okay.
Where it's like, hey, show me a hint for the next step, and it literally says, move this thing to that block.
Okay.
And I soon realized, like, oh, if I didn't move that there's no way I could solve this puzzle. So the game knows there's a specific set of moves you need to make. Do. Yeah. And it's like if Hitman was like super inflexible.
Yeah, like you have to kill this target, but you have to go
do it this
one way
in this one room, and also we're gonna like signpost how you do it. Like it just doesn't feel satisfying at all.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's part of the satisfaction that comes from a puzzle game where, like, some games will have specific solutions, but for the most part, really good ones, you can figure it out with using the tools you have. I mean, like another good example is Breath of the Wild, where you do the shrines and you know that you have to like tick this box to get it done. But how you tick that box, there are so many different ways to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, like the one good example we've often brought up is in one of the shrines, you have to connect two nodes to each other.
Things,
yeah, you basically have to complete a circuit board. And I can't remember what the solution was, but there was like...
I think it was like 2 balls you had to dislodge.
And then like join them, whatever. But there was a video that went around a while back where the person playing literally just emptied the inventory of swords and steel weapons and lined them up to complete the circuit. And they just broke the shrine, and it still worked.
Productive, it's still, and that's awesome because it's like 99% of players wouldn't think.
We'll never do that,
but the fact
you
that
could do it.
You could do it,
and the game acknowledged like this is these are our tools, and they work in this way.
And there's so many times like when I was playing Portal where I was like, I'd finish a puzzle and be like, I don't know if that's exactly how they thought I'd do that, but it worked.
Sometimes you almost feel like you're cheating.
Yeah,
it
almost feels like you cheated the game.
I don't know if I was meant to do it that way, but for the most part, they just like, here's the puzzle, just solve it.
Yeah, solve it. Yeah.
It's sad because that really sounds like an interesting premise.
The premise is so much fun, and it's just like, it's so jolly and fun, and like Felix is a really cool dude, and
I love how you use the word jolly and like it's your job to murder people.
Yeah,
it's an awful jolly
time.
That's
what's so strange about it. It's like, you're the Grim Reaper,
jolly.
you're killing people, but man, it's just so pleasant and fun.
And you dance while you do it. And,
oh man, his animations are so cute. It's just
the soundtrack at least good?
Yeah, it's got some good beats while he's going, and he does this really cool thing. Like if you click a block that he can't navigate to because it'd have to go through the sun, he kind of like does this like really eccentric like he like shakes his finger. It's very funny.
That's cool.
It's so. Unfortunately, I really didn't like that game. Despite, but I don't know, maybe people have different mileage with it. I can't recommend it. I got so frustrated by it. It was not fun.
Damn. Okay, so that's the bad game you played this week.
The other one that I have been playing that I have been liking a lot is Call of Duty Mobile.
Oh, no, this is interesting because
holy crap!
When they say Call of Duty Mobile, my first thought was like, yeah, it could be fun because if it is Call of Duty's fun, like I'll come out and say the multiplayer is always a good time.
Yeah.
Like regardless of if it's World War II or Advanced Warfare, for the most part, the multiplayer is always fast-paced and frantic and fun. But putting on a mobile is like, how is that going to work?
Well, it's like cool. Fortnite is doing really well on mobile. PUBG is doing really well on mobile. Of course, Call of Duty would work.
And the fact that every platform now lets you connect your controller.
But you cannot use your controller in Call of Duty Mobile.
Oh, really?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Okay. So they say they're investigating, maybe allowing it, but this is part of why I'm so
so it's only
fascinated.
Touch? Okay.
This is why I'm fascinated by it, because it actually solves an issue of touchscreen controls that has plagued, I think, like first-person shooters on mobile forever. So essentially, you're still using some imaginary analog sticks, whatever. So using like the left part of the screen to move, and then using the right to aim.
Yeah.
But you have 2 options to play. You can play the traditional way where you aim with your right finger and you have to press a button to shoot.
Yeah.
Or the way that they default to and kind of like train you in is where it auto-fires for you. So you need to focus on lining up your shot.
Okay.
And then as soon as you've got like a threshold that you can edit, like how close to the target must you be before it starts firing for you. And you can play around with that. But essentially it works like that. And when everyone is playing like that, it feels like everyone's reaction times are on the same playing field.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel unbalanced in a way.
That's cool.
And it's really cool because you can edit. You can then have a control scheme where, so if you aim down the sights, the time it takes for you to start firing is much quicker, and you're obviously more accurate.
Yeah.
But then you can like go into the settings and say, okay, if I'm using this, and this weapon, I want to be able to manual fire like a sniper or a shotgun.
Yeah.
But for automatic weapons, I want you to auto fire for me. So you can really tune it to how you like to play. And then it just feels good because now I'm moving around and I'm able to like make very quick reflexes and not worry about having to take my finger off aiming to shoot and then not be able to aim and shoot
again,
at the same time. I'm just aiming,
That's cool.
essentially.
My only thing was like the only way you would ever solve that is to put a shoulder button on the phone.
Yeah,
but
because
I mean,
you
like,
need to be able to move and shoot at the same time. Yeah, so this is their solution to that. The thing is, I don't know, like, if I'm being matched up to people who are also new to the game, or if I'm playing against bots, but I'm doing like stupidly well in that game.
It's fine. You can humble brag, like, I'm a god
I mean,
at that.
I'm not good at Call of Duty. I mean, I'm fine. I'm okay. I can play the game and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But this is like, I'm coming first and I'm like 10, 20 kills, sometimes more than the person in second.
Shit.
I'm like, something's not right.
You're playing against bots.
Yeah, or potatoes, something like that.
Potatoes.
I'm not sure, but I'm having, at the same time, I'm like, I was chatting to Jeff about it yesterday because he was also like, yeah, it seems a bit weird, but I don't give a fuck. It's fun. And I'm like, yeah, I feel kind of the same thing. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And I've just unlocked the Battle Royale mode now. So
that's cool,
mode. So I need to try that out. The one thing... Okay, so the maps are all maps that you've played in previous Call of Duty games. It's like a... I don't know, like a homage to so many great maps.
Wait, so Call of Duty Mobile, which game do you think it's most inspired by? Like Modern Warfare or Black Ops? Or is it like a combination of all of them?
I would say
maybe?
more a Modern Warfare because you don't have like ridiculous powers or whatever. Okay, so you don't hop around and jump around and ski and whatever, but each character can equip like an
ultimate something.
Yeah, so I've got like a flamethrower or something like that, which I can use for like 30 seconds or whatever. But for the most part, the weapons are all like normal modern weapons.
Actual weapons, okay.
Yeah, and you're playing on maps a lot of maps that I recognize from the original Modern Warfare. There's some from Black Ops. There's Nuketown, obviously.
Oh, that must be fun.
Yeah. So it's fun. Like, and then you've got so Battle Royale, whatever. But then you've got the microtransaction side of things. So, man, there's a lot. It's overwhelming how much there is. So it's like you've got a battle pass, obviously, and you've got two tiers, free, premium. Man, every time you unlock a new tier on free, it reminds you what you could have gotten on premium. It's like, hey, you got this, but if you paid us, you could get this. Like,
so what is it? Just cosmetic unlocks?
So yes and no. So your weapon unlocks are very much like normal Call of Duty fare, where as you level up, you unlock new weapons that you can equip. Okay, but then attachments for those weapons are unlocked based on how much you use that weapon. Your each weapon has like an XP bar, but you can buy these vouchers, or you can get them in crates, which are like weapon XP vouchers, which you can use to like rapidly increase that process. So if like you get a new weapon and you've got a bunch of these vouchers, you can unlock all the attachment for it like really immediately.
Okay.
Which is fine. Like to me I'd rather have that than like having to pay for the really nice assault rifle. You know, if I can pay and get a red dot sight instead of having to play 3 matches where I'm annoyed because I don't have it, fine. Yeah. Whatever. And then in crates, you've got lots of cosmetics like skins and finishing emotes and stuff like that. And then that extends to like, oh, this skin is only valid in multiplayer, this one's valid in Battle Royale, this and that. So I don't feel that there's a pay-to-win element. I mean, you could argue that being able to unlock your attachment, sure. But I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage by not paying. The thing that annoys me is that, man, you load up the game and you've got to tap through like 5, 6 fucking notifications being like, this awesome crate just came out. Oh, we're launching this event. Oh, have you bought our season pass? Oh, the battle pass is out. Like, you're just like, oh, I just want to play the game. Like, whatever. And I get it. It's a free game. They have to market it like that. But you just got to be aware that there's a lot of that shit. There's so many currencies. There's so many like scrolling text bars. Like, buy this, buy that. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's easy enough to just go multiplayer, play a match, boom. I mean, it's a good time.
That's cool.
Super fun.
How does it run? Is it
Very
a 60 FPS?
Yeah, it's super smooth, incredibly smooth. It's I like it a lot, and they've designed the UI nicely so that you can access your kill streaks really easily. You can throw grenades pretty easily.
That's cool.
It's awesome.
The way you explained it, I almost don't want them to put controller support.
Yeah, exactly. That's why at first I was like, oh, there's no controller support? That's fucking stupid. Yeah. But now I'm like, if they add it, they have to have separate
It'll have to be a separate lobby, Have
to. The weird thing is Jeff was telling me, because this game is made by Tencent,
Oh, it's made by Tencent.
Because Tencent owns it, sharing Activision, whatever. So Tencent has an official emulator on PC that you can launch this game on and play with a mouse and keyboard. And it's official. Jeff's like, yeah, I've just been playing like that. I'm like, that's cheating.
No.
That's cheating because there is no fucking way I'll be good enough to be.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah. But you can do that if you want to be a 30 seconds cheater.
Oh wow, you wanna cheat off your 30 seconds card?
Yes,
Damn.
exactly.
How dare
Exactly. Only people like that would go through the effort
of
launching a game on their
Tencent
PC to play against people on a mobile. That's a lot of effort just to feel superior.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
Don't do it.
I must actually check it out. One of the reasons I haven't is because I thought, like, I don't really have the means to attach my controller. Like, I don't have one of those nice things you have where you can,
should have asked Gareth to get you one.
Yeah, I've got something that I could put on my desk, but I can't travel with something.
I could not find them locally. I had to order one from Amazon.
Damn.
I could not find it locally.
That's fine. I know Lenska's sister's coming from the UK. So we'll see.
And they're cheap.
We'll
it's like, I think I paid like $5 for mine.
Nice.
It's cheap. But mine only fits an Xbox controller, which is weird.
That's fine. I need to get one regardless for Apple Arcade. So
I've been playing so many Apple Arcade games that I can't get to here, but holy crap, that service is so good.
How much is it a month? It's like $6.
Yeah, it's like $80 a month.
Damn.
They just launched a new game, Manifold Garden, that I've been dying to play, puzzle game, and I've played lots of great. So I'll run through quickly just games that I've really enjoyed. There's two story games. One's called Assemble with Care, and the other one's called Pilgrims, which is really good. They're both like sort of like puzzle-ish story games, really good. I play a lot of Grindstone now. Grindstone is fucking awesome.
That's Greg Miller has been punting that a lot as well. Saying
God,
he's like,
game.
he said, if I recall, he said it's like one of his game of the years because it's really good.
It's made by Cappy Games, and it's like a weird mishmash of like, what if God of War and Candy Crush had a baby?
Interesting.
So it's like
Tell me more.
Enemies are all color-coded on the screen, and every move you've got to like, you choose an enemy to attack, and based on the color that they are, you can chain up attacks of enemies of that color.
Okay.
So you can move like in any direction, like diagonal, whatever, as long as they're within the 8 blocks around. And you can make these mad chains of kills. And then if you kill 10 enemies or more in a chain, you drop this thing in the level called a grindstone.
Okay.
And then, so the next time you make a chain, if your chain goes through the grindstone, you can change the color of the people you're attacking mid-combo.
Okay.
So you can get insane chains if you like really set it up right. And it's and then it starts playing around with this risk and reward, because the longer you stay in a level, the more aggravated enemies become. So if you end a turn on a block that is next to an enemy that's aggravated, they'll attack you. And you've only got 3 hit points.
Okay.
So you've got to balance like, I want to stay in this level and farm grindstones. But if you stay in too long and then you can't map your way out to the exit, you're fucked and you have to restart the level.
God damn.
It's so good. It's mad good. I love it.
That's cool.
I play it on my commute every morning now, and I'm just so...
You hooked.
I'm hooked,
That's
man.
Apple Arcade, damn.
And it's got some damn good animations. Like, every time you cut someone up, they break into these, like, blocks. They almost look like blocks of, like, trifle. They're just they're really cute.
And then you consume them.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Nice.
Yeah.
I still need to get that Apple Arcade live.
Yeah, now that you got your...
One day.
Your iPhone 11 as well.
It's so pretty. It's so big.
Play some Apple Arcade is...
So scared of dropping it.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm so irritated because I got the fancy, very expensive Apple...
Case, yeah?
Apple clear case, and it's cracked already.
What?
And I haven't
How did
dropped
it crack?
the phone. I haven't dropped it. I've done nothing. I've just put it on tables or whatever, and it's fucking cracked. And I'm
How
just
the hell?
like, what the hell?
How did this even happen?
And Mom's like, well, take it back. I'm like, yeah, but how?
How? How?
So I'm really irritated about it. Like, if I dropped it and it cracked, sure.
Yeah.
I haven't
done it. It might have been in your pocket and you bumped something.
Yeah,
so.
I'm real irritated by it. But yeah.
Oh, well.
Your yellow is really good.
So
I like it a lot.
So much of pretty. Yeah.
It's like this, like, it's like a Pikachu yellow. It's not like...
It is.
It's not a very
this little
neon
apple
yellow.
symbol should be a little Pikachu tail.
I like that they put the apple symbol in the middle of the phone now. And
yeah,
like
where was
no
it before? It was up above, yeah.
And they always had text at the bottom.
Not today.
Yeah, it's very... How annoying is it with a clear case where you see a fingerprint from the inside of the case.
I'm like, no.
I see it a lot with the swipes. I'm like, oh, fuck.
no,
I need
gotta
to
take
the
it
phone out
out.
and wipe
Nah.
it. It annoys me so much.
Fine, I just close my eyes. And I don't
I saw Gareth doing it the other day as well. I was like, I feel you.
I
man.
feel the
you,
pain.
dog.
God damn. Oh.
So yeah, that's games.
That's
We had
a lot of
55
games.
minutes already.
God damn.
Should we get to
Let's fly through game releases. Like literally nitpick the ones we think are highlights of this
pick
week.
the good ones?
Let's cherry pick the.
It's a big week this week because we got
Isn't Outer Worlds coming out this week?
what the fuck?
Why does your internet always do this?
I don't know. Outer Worlds is coming out on Friday, and that is if you've got Xbox
boy.
Game Pass, it's out on Game Pass on the day of release, which is awesome. You've also got Why Internet.
Why you like this?
That's not a game, but
Why internet? I want to play that one.
checking
network requirements.
it connects to my Wi-Fi, and then it's like, nah, you don't have an
My fam.
Ethernet connection.
Oh, there we go.
What the
No.
fuck.
Right now it's
No,
connected.
there we go. We've also got Call of Duty Modern Warfare out on Friday.
Oh shit, that's this week.
Yeah, right? It
Damn.
just snuck up on us, yeah. That's
Oh
out
shit.
on Friday. I think reviews for Outer Worlds and Modern Warfare are out on like Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
You're playing a little interesting game that we'll talk about one day.
Well, I can say I'm playing Death Stranding. but
Oh, boy.
I cannot talk about it other than say that I'm
You
playing
tell
it
us
right now.
tell us your thoughts of Baby in a Bottle Simulator.
That name, it came to me, and I love
That's
it
so good.
Okay. So we're looking at games from October 19th to October, I guess, 25th. Yeah. Oh, just quickly, games that came out yesterday that you should play. A Hat in Time, really good, and Return of Obra Dinn.
On all other
On
platforms now.
Consoles, yeah.
I can't believe the Ring Fit Adventure is out.
Oh, yeah, that's out.
I had no idea
We
it was
should be
coming
getting
out soon.
copies of that.
Interesting.
We should stream that.
Oh boy, gonna be fit.
Okay,
TF.
so big games coming out. WWE 2K20, which looks like absolute garbage.
It looks like they downgraded it.
Oh my god,
somehow.
it looks yeah.
It's weird.
Moons of Madness coming to PC. This was originally meant to be out on Halloween, but they pushed it up, which is strange because it is a horror game. So
Interesting.
it's like a space Lovecraftian horror. I played a bit of it at E3 and I really liked it. So
Nope. Good Nope material there.
yeah, good note material if you're not into that
Stuff.
Looking at stuff. Okay, so the Friday is the big day, really. Medieval remake PS4, October 25th. Call of Duty Modern Warfare PC, PS4, Xbox One,
Oh my
October 25th.
gosh.
The Outer Worlds PC, PS4, Xbox One, October 25th. Close to the Sun, which came out on an Epic Game Store. Oh no, wait, that's October 29th.
That's
Never
Never
mind.
mind. Look away.
Yeah, that's about it. But those are three.
Those are-
medieval.
But like, it's. I'd
Outer Worlds
argue
and Modern Warfare.
it's interesting that they're all coming out on the same day.
Yeah.
Although, if I think about it, they are.
Sony's sending Medieval to fucking die. Like
But-
that game is.
But they are different. Like they're all completely different. But I mean, despite that, if you're a gamer like you or me, for example, we play everything. It's like, what would you pick from there? Like, if you could only have
Outer
one,
Worlds, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
I think I'd also take Outer Worlds. But sorry, then it means like Call of Duty doesn't get my money, nor Medieval.
I do really want Call of Duty, but like Outer Worlds is like Obsidian's like, hey, here's an RPG like Fallout that's only 20 hours. I'm like,
No,
sign me
take
the
my
fuck
money.
up. Like I'm there. So
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how Modern Warfare reviews because
yes, I
it's
am
like
very
it's a
curious.
new direction, a bit of a reboot in a sense. So
I do want to play the multiplayer.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I said,
Medieval, yeah, Sony's sending that out to die. I'm sorry, like they put it on a day with Call of Duty and Outer Worlds.
why
and
would you put it out on Call of Duty
I
every year?
do not
is
know.
like the biggest release, and it's a known fact. It's a trend. It's been like that for years.
And
now.
this is one of their remakes that is like, it doesn't carry the same clout as like a Crash Bandicoot or a Spyro or something. So I'm just like puzzled by this.
I don't know. It's weird.
Anyway,
So that is After Party's out soon. Damn,
yes, I'm keen for that game.
that's cool.
I drink the devil.
I thought you said I'd drink the devil. I'm like, damn.
I mean,
would
I
you?
would if he was
Could you?
liquidized.
Oh my.
Game
Big news this week.
In not so surprising news, Blizzard is still in shit.
Shocker.
We did talk about this last week, didn't we?
we did, yeah. We covered it. New restaurant in Santon.
Ooh.
What?
So now basically we've got Republicans and Democrats in the States actually joining forces over their hatred of what Activision and Blizzard did to Blitzchung, which is fucking surprising.
That's insane.
They penned some big Republican and Democratic Congress people like AOC and Marco Rubio. They penned an open letter co-signed calling out Blizzard and telling them to reverse what they did. And it's just
no ways.
Huh.
Who knew gaming would bring the Republicans and Democrats together?
Yeah. But guys, games aren't political.
They're not at all.
Yeah,
How dare
that's. But I don't know what Blizzard's gonna do. BlizzCon's in like 2
BlizzCon
weeks.
is around the corner.
It's gonna be a fucking mess.
Oh my god. That I find interesting. Pokemon Sword and Shield's map will be the size of roughly 2 Breath of the Wild
That's huge.
regions.
There was some
regions. Okay, so I thought it meant the whole map, but still, that's damn big.
There was some cool details about this. Like, so when you go out into Pokemon Sword and Shield's, what they call the Wild region, you'll see 3 types of Pokemon. You'll see like Pokemon out in the wild that you can just, like Pokemon Let's Go, you just collide with them and you can catch them, whatever. Then you've got hidden encounters, like the old Pokemon games. And then you've got like really overpowered ones. So you can be in an area, you won't be like, oh, this is Route 1, so I'm supposed to be here. You can encounter a Pokemon that is like 40, 50 levels above you. You've got to deal with that. Which I think makes the world a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'll be more careful. Okay.
Google Stadia is coming out November 19th. Google announced. Well, they're like early access.
What?
Wait, November 9th. I swear it was 19th. Okay.
Speaking of Stadia, didn't project, what is it, xCloud, didn't that get some sort of beta
so yeah, it's an early access like preview, so they're sending out invites to people, and I've seen some videos of it and the latency looks damn good.
I saw the one,
the fighting game one.
Yeah, that's insane.
So someone's playing Killer Instinct and
yes, that's one I saw.
It's like pretty damn responsive.
That's insane.
So,
this is the future.
If it's responsive for fighting games, like a action game, a single player action game will be 100%.
Here's my thing though, like we're at a point today where it looks like it works pretty well. It's only going to get better.
Oh yeah,
I think that as they optimize and what is the one tech term? Is it edge computing, where like they put the servers closer to certain places, which minimizes latency?
Yeah, that's essentially what Microsoft is going to do. They're using the Azure servers. So
I mean, as technology gets better, the streaming future seems very certain.
I'm just hoping, because we've got Microsoft's Azure data centers up and running here in Joburg. But it doesn't even host Xbox Live games yet, so
which is weird.
I'm not sure what the odds are of us getting xCloud stuff just yet. But if it does come, we can rest assured that our latency will be pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm sure there must be plans. I think where they are at the moment is they want to just secure the business side of things for big companies using the cloud. But I imagine this is phase 1. Phase 2 will be like, okay, now let's do Xbox
and
Live
it's a big rollout, because they essentially need to put this console hardware into like server racks in these data centers. So it's not like a console launch where you just ship stuff. It's a big process.
It's a big deal.
Do you want to run through this Riot nonsense?
Sure, let me tell you. This is exciting stuff. Okay, so Riot Games. Okay.
Yeah.
They I think Glenn wrote this article, and he even pointed out in it that Riot Games gets a lot of shit because they've got games in their name, but they've only ever made one game. Okay.
League of Legends.
Okay, so League of Legends is 10 years old now.
That's crazy.
And that's like, a part of me feels like it should be older,
launched,
but it's 10 years it's a decade of. So League of Legends, if you don't know, is basically
salty tears.
Salty tears. It's basically a competitor to Dota. It's simple.
It is the biggest
premise,
competitor to Dota.
Yeah, but same premise where you've got 2 teams, 5v5, and the whole goal of the game is to push through your lanes to destroy the enemy base. It's been around for 10 years now, and
crazy.
Honestly, like League of Legends, I give them a lot of credit, because even when I was at Lazy Game, I'd report on them, and every 2 weeks they'd have like almost extensive patch notes. Like they're constantly fine-tuning the game, like just making changes to keep it as balanced as possible, and they release champions regularly. Like, I don't know what the cadence, if it's changed or not, but when I was reporting on it back in the day, it was always like 3 to 5 a year, which is high. When you think of Dota, for example, they do like 1 or 2 a year. So they're really good at like keeping the game alive and always changing things up to keep it fresh. So they make a lot of money from it, because League is still one of the most played games in the world, and it's free to play, but in-game cosmetics, they print money. I suppose similar to like Fortnite or whatever. So when they came out this week, and it wouldn't be unlike them to be like, you know what, we're gonna expand and look at developing a different game or a different IP. They came out and announced, I think it was like 6 or 7 new projects.
Yeah, it was mad.
Which is like, I can't wrap my head around it. What studio comes out and says we're gonna do 6 to 7 different projects in different genres?
Yeah,
so
all competitive genres.
Yeah, so the one big one they showed was they've got a first-person shooter coming out.
Yes,
which looks like a combination of.
It looks like Team Fortress.
It's like Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, and Overwatch.
Yeah,
had a baby. It honestly looks like that. It's like a reflex-based shooter with abilities. That's
to me it was like the weakest thing that they showed.
It still looks interesting though. So I mean, it's right. I want to see what their spin is.
What they spin on, yeah.
Okay, but that aside, they also announced that League of Legends is coming to mobile and consoles, which is
huge.
If you've ever played a MOBA, just try to wrap your head around a MOBA coming to console. It doesn't make sense. Like, how do you do that? They've stressed that it's going to be almost like a separate League of Legends in a sense, and it's built completely from the ground up. And when they showed a bit of hardware control, and I'd never thought about it, League of Legends, you move your character by just moving the analog.
That's sort of what I thought as well, because when I think of that, I think of like, how does Diablo work on a console? And it's like, it
would work similar. So other than that, I don't know how it's going to control, but
use
League
like
of
a
Legends,
right stick to line up skill shots or something.
But it's coming to console, which is massive. Like,
huge,
I'm sure there are MOBAs on console, but
Dota wish it could be on console.
Yeah, but shit, League of Legends on console. I've got a colleague at work. He's a big Overwatch fan now, and he said in his college days, he's a console gamer now, but he said in his college days he played a lot of League of Legends. So I told him it's coming to console, and he was like super excited, like, oh goddamn, like we're gonna get addicted to
Counter-Strike
this.
was on console.
That could work. It's different.
It's
like
Rainbow Six Siege at the moment.
So
they've got a fighting game.
Yeah, so those two are, I suppose, the more like in the foreseeable future. So League of Legends on console and smartphones, they've pegged it for 2020.
Okay,
I don't know when exactly. And the shooter, I don't know. It's coming to PC. I don't know when it's coming out, but I imagine there'll at least be a beta or something in the next year.
Okay.
Because the footage they showed looks pretty far-ish along. Okay, but now those are just, they could have announced those two and just left it be. Okay, but then they've also come out and said they're doing a fighting game.
Which makes sense because they bought a studio called, a studio behind a game called Rising Thunder, which was like an accessible fighting game.
Yeah.
And they bought them a while back.
Okay, but they're doing a fighting game. They're doing an RPG, which I don't think they've shown. I could be wrong.
That's the Diablo-like that they're making,
I
aren't they?
think, but there's an RPG coming they're also making. They're doing a card game.
Yeah.
I think that's all the games, and they're doing they're
still busy deving their auto chess thing.
Yeah. So the auto chess is coming to mobile as well, as far as I know. I think it's Team Fight Tactics.
Yeah, that's.
And they announced an animated series, which I'm very excited for, because if you've ever watched, so like, I've dabbled with League of Legends, and I've just my only touch point with Riot is that I used to report on them and play a bit of League of Legends, and I do have a respect for them because I like the way they manage their game. Like, I think Valve, for example, could learn a lot on how to manage this game. It's like League of Legends is they're just constantly keeping it fresh, and they're always patching it and trying to keep it as balanced as possible. And Valve does that, but they do it, and I mean, their approach is just different. They'll patch Dota like every 6 months, and it's like an extensive
it's like an event.
But shit, the Riot also does just these incredible cinematics, and I fell down that,
and their songs are really
good. I
Yeah.
fell down that rabbit hole again this week because I forgot how good their cinematics were, and they've got a whole animated series coming out, which I think the premise is it sort of tells the origin story of Jinx and V. So I mean, you might not have played League of Legends, but you'll know Jinx is the one champion that a lot of people cosplay. She's the one with the blue and pink hair, got the rocket launcher.
She rides on rockets as well and stuff.
So it's her origin story and another character called V.
I don't think I know V.
I think V's the one who's got like a massive arm, like a robot arm or something.
Okay.
But it's just exciting that there's going to be like that whole. They've created an interesting world. It's going to be cool to see it actually like come to life in an animated series.
Yeah.
But what blows my mind is that this is all in one big announcement. They've announced like however many games I just went through and an animated series. Like that is very ambitious. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. That studio must be growing
just for any studio to come out to be like, we're going to make one game in a genre we've never worked in before. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to tick all the boxes. We've got a fighting game, an RPG, a shooter, a card game.
I've never heard of any studio even attempting.
Yeah, and just the timing is so on the nose because Blizzard is in a lot of shit. And it's weird that, I mean, you don't just wake up one morning and go, we're going to create 6 games. Okay, but we've spoken about it. The PR person at Riot must have been so happy at this timing with Blizzard because it's like,
perfect thing.
Okay, everyone's pissed off with Blizzard. Okay, they don't want to play Blizzard games anymore. Don't worry. Are you tired of Hearthstone? We've got our own card game coming out. You don't want to play Diablo? We've got an RPG coming out.
Tired of Overwatch? Yeah,
we've got our own shooter coming out. It's like the timing was just impeccable.
And it's so funny because it's like the shit that Blizzard finds himself in must be somewhat correlated to Tencent, and Tencent owns the entirety of Riot.
Yeah,
it's
so it's interesting.
Yeah, weird. Anyway,
that's right.
There's a little device coming out next year called the Analog Pocket, which will be able to play your old Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games, the actual cartridges, which is pretty neat.
Let me say that device is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So pretty.
It's $200.
It's expensive.
Very expensive.
Do you think the dock is sold separately?
I don't know.
I think from what I read, it looks almost like it is sold separately, which I'm like, damn, you pay $200 for the... So basically it looks like a Game Boy, but it comes with a dock that you can use... Well, there's a dock that you can use it to connect to your TV. I don't know how that works or how much it'll cost.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed later into 2020. It was originally going to launch around the same time as Doom and Final Fantasy, so I'm not entirely shocked by that.
No.
Pikachu's fat again.
Oh, no?
Pikachu has got a Gigantamax form in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Did you watch that video?
So good. So good.
I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it.
So good. I loved it. Fat Pikachu and Long Boy Meowth.
Long Boy Meowth, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But when Eevee gets big and it's like, uses the Gigantamax move Cuddle, I'm like,
I'd cuddle a big Eevee.
I would
if she wasn't a shit Pokemon.
Oh, no?
Oh yeah, Fortnite had this big fucking thing that happened this year. This week.
Fortnite was deleted.
Yeah, essentially for like 48 hours, Fortnite. So basically, like they had this big event in game that was meant to signify their next chapter. They've been teasing a next chapter, which everyone assumed was a new map. I don't think anyone expected for like the map to be sucked up into a black hole and go offline for 2 days.
Yeah, it was a ballsy move because the game is literally offline for 2 days. Okay, this is one of the if not the most played games in the world.
Yeah,
Epic were like, we're just gonna pull the plug for 2 days. You know, we're just gonna do this quick.
It was so smart though because
it is a hell of a PR
they could have just been like, hey, we're doing server downtime to launch the new chapter.
Yeah, I mean, they could have shown that cinematic, like, oh no, like the map's been sucked into the black hole. You know, tune back in 2 hours when the new patch is out. They ran with it. There was a live stream on Twitch. There were hundreds of thousands of people watching a black hole going, oh, what's going to happen?
People made it an event. Like, essentially, like this black hole's going, and you know that they're working on the game in the background, but they somehow turned server downtime into an event that people were enthralled by.
Yeah.
They kept putting, like, little Easter eggs and little hints and little events that people were always watching it. And Epic, in terms of the way they string together their content and just like market their battle royale on another level. No one is touching them in that regard.
I mean,
so chapter 2 is out. It's got a new map. It's got this really cool like jelly looking character, which I really am a fan of. So new Fortnite, go play.
For Fortlife. Look, the event was big enough that a couple of us staff was like, when are we playing Fortnite again?
Yeah, exactly. It's like got me interested and it got me like looking at Fortnite again. It was just unbelievable. Yeah. I think that's... So it wasn't November 19th. I was right. Someone typoed.
What?
For Google Stadia, it's like
Stadia.
November 19th.
Okay. Sure, it's like a month away.
I think that's basically it.
Stories, The Blair Witcher.
Let's head on to questions.
Oh, wait. Can we just mention that one quickly?
What, this one?
The Blizzard debacle. Blizzard cancels New York launch event for Overwatch on Switch. Has yet to clarify why. I don't know if they've come out and said why.
Nintendo was hosting a big Overwatch thing at their store in New York because Overwatch is coming out on Switch. and then Blizzard cancelled it. And I think it was to do with people rumblings of like there's going to be a protest.
Yeah.
And Blizzard's just like,
nah, fam.
no,
it's hectic.
we're not
She's
going
like,
to do that.
So yeah, they cancelled that.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's news.
Blizzard's having a time. They're having a moment, and it just
BlizzCon in
keeps
2
getting
weeks,
worse and worse and worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that government's involved, now that
They're gonna have to do
fucking
some
Republicans
insane
and
damage
Democrats
control.
are in there. Oh my god.
So here's my prediction. They come out at BlizzCon on the stage. They have to make some like peace offering or some statements on their opening night to be like, listen, we really screwed up. We're sorry, XYZ or something. I don't know. But
I feel super bad though because the people on stage at BlizzCon are developers,
Yeah.
and they don't make these calls, and you know a lot of them even staged a protest, so they don't necessarily agree with it.
No.
But they're going to be taking all of that flack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
It's not
interesting.
fair. Yeah.
Okay, so that's news.
Questions.
Let's bounce to questions. Okay, we have had a bunch
I don't
of
even
questions.
know if we'll be able to record another one today.
Oh my god!
Because Matty's leaving me for so many weeks.
I know. Good lord.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and then you.
And then I'm away.
Following week.
Fuck. We're going to make a plan.
Shit, yeah, we'll make a
Got to
plan.
make a plan.
Okay, over on Instagram, we have 2 questions from Cello ZA.
Cello!
He says, why is the Origin store so far behind the Epic store and Steam store?
I have no idea, but I know the Origin store is bad.
It's actual garbage.
Actual garbage.
I don't know. I think Steam has. I suppose they are the most rounded because they've been around the longest. I mean, Steam launched back with Half-Life 2, so
And remember when Steam launched, it was garbage.
it was actual garbage as well. I mean, shit.
People rioted that they had to download that thing to play Half-Life 2.
I was downloading Half-Life 2 and shit on my dial-up modem. It was a hard time back then.
Counter-Strike Source.
Oh no, yeah, back in the day. So, but I mean, the Half-Life 2 came out like early 2000s. They've had a lot of time. Valve have had a lot of time to optimize and polish up. And to be honest, there's still 1 or 2 things that I'm like, oh, I wish they would fix this or change that. But overall, their store is probably is the best, I'd say. But
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, they've had the time to manage it. I think Epic is making strides very quickly.
So Epic is the newest. Their store is functional, but there's still room for improvement, like cloud saves, all of that functionality.
They've got cloud saves for some games.
For some games, yeah.
Carts, so you can put multiple
yeah.
things in a cart. That'd be nice. Yeah.
But I mean, you can't really give them flack because, well, you can, but I mean, their store's the youngest overall. Okay, Origin
and it's
though,
grown quickly.
and I mean, their store's got shit tons of games, and
Already,
the fact that it runs and it still works well. So
Yeah.
kudos to them. Origin though is like in the middle. It's been
Origin's
around
just bad.
not as long as Valve, not as young as Epic. I don't
Origin's
know.
that thing you need to use if you want to play the Battlefield.
It really is. I've got
all it's
Origin
there
because Lenska plays The Sims. I don't like it. It's such a
It hasn't updated it
it's
hasn't changed in ages. It's garbage to use. I just don't like it at all.
Yeah. But why it's like that, I have no
I forgot
idea.
to mention, if you want to send us questions,
We're just rushing through.
you can DM us at Checkpoint Chats on Twitter. You can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can Facebook us, Checkpoint Chat, or facebook.com/checkpointchat. We've also got an Instagram, Checkpoint
do.
Chat. And
These are where these questions come
Matty
from.
throws up a question box on the stories. So
It's the best.
So
I love
check it out.
Instagram. Okay, next
I
question.
liked
from,
your gift thing. It was like a Spooktober thing. It was good.
Yours, what? You're spectacular.
You're spectacular. I loved it.
Cello also asks, are there any tips on how to find friends on CSGO that can carry someone to
Wow.
Master Guardian 2?
I feel like that's a
It's a jab at me.
it's a
Of
jab
course
at you.
It's a jab at
Apparently
me.
you're bad. I thought Cello was the one who killed himself with a fire grenade. Though.
No, he's the one who got murdered by the,
Oh,
the
okay,
grenade.
maybe you should be better. At
No, so
Counter-Strike.
what happened? What happened on Thursday is that so after Jackbox we played some Counter-Strike. We played 2 games and I was bottom fragging both games. Like I was having a terrible time. I don't know why I wasn't getting kills. After the games, I ranked up somehow, which doesn't make any sense because I had nothing to show for it. And I went up a rank, so Chill is very salty because he carried me. So
Has he tried being good?
no, he is good. I need to try being good. Okay, we've got some questions from Megs, which I'll get to from last week, but we had a really interesting question on Twitter from Fenro, who's at Spreadwolf187.
What's up? Thanks for messaging
Yeah,
the
thanks
show.
for sending the questions. Oh, wait, did we have any others? Oh, wait, we actually have another one on Twitter. I'll get to that.
Okay.
But Fenro says, well, here's a difficult one. I'm a disabled gamer. I've only got 4% vision left, yet I still
Wow.
game I just wanted to find out your opinions on the debate that devs should make games easier for disabled gamers. I don't believe in that point of view. I think it should be left as is, as games are already inclusive. I wouldn't mind a system that would allow screen readers to work in games, but that is not a question of being more inclusive. That is more towards accessibility. But don't make games easier. What is your point of view? I don't know. This is an opinion from an actual disabled gamer who says, I don't want easier games, which is interesting.
Okay, so to make it clear, he's saying, I think this comes up from the debate of like when Sekiro came out. People were conflating accessibility and difficulty in a weird way. So he's saying he would love games to be more accessible in terms of the control options. He talks about a screen
reader,
because he's
got impaired vision. Yeah,
so that's an accessibility feature. But he doesn't want the game to be any easier to compensate for his disability. Okay, so we're on the same page. With that. I don't know. That's tricky. I think games need to become more accessible in terms of features that work for people with disabilities. More so than difficulty needs to be adjusted. Because I think the former is a much harder problem to solve. I think Microsoft's adaptive controller solved a lot of problems for a wide range of people because it was basically like this base.
It lets you tailor how you want to play a game.
Exactly.
I think so. If you don't know what the adaptive controller is, it's like this big peripheral that almost looks like it
much bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, but it almost looks like it has two.
Almost like DJ pads,
it's like,
but they're big buttons.
Yeah, but the thing that stands out of it is it's got ports that you can input like anything.
Yeah,
as far as I know, and you can
tons of ports.
Yeah, and you can really tailor what you want, what button to do. So it lets disabled gamers like really figure out how can they play this game, and they can solve it.
Yeah. So essentially, the issue was always like. People with disabilities have these controllers that they can use to, circumvent that. But the consoles were never really set up to allow for that sort of input. So the adaptive controller not only gives them a hub, but Microsoft's work on the software side to allow you to remap any buttons to anything that this adaptive controller can do allows anyone to make up their own control scheme that is comfortable for them, which is perfect.
Yeah.
So I think, that to me was like the biggest step forward in a long time. But like there's still other things like text in games needs to be able to be readable, which is ridiculous that we haven't got to a point where it's
a thing.
Yeah.
But look, I think companies are slowly waking up to it because Microsoft, they've got the adaptive controller. I can tell you that they're pushing accessibility even in other places. So on social media, for example, part of my job at Microsoft is something I never thought I'd be doing. So if we ever do, say my team makes an animation, to promote a campaign, I create what's called an SRT file, which is essentially if you have subtitles in a YouTube video, that's me doing that for that social asset.
Oh, I see.
So if you view it on Facebook, for example, you'll get a thing it'll explain on the bottom, but it's not
like
subtitles.
Closed captions.
It's like closed captions, be like the Xbox logo flashes onto the screen.
Okay, got you.
I'm doing that for Xbox. So I know on that front they're pushing accessibility hard. Like they want to be inclusive of everyone,
which is awesome.
Which is really cool, yeah. But with regards to games, like I hope it's something. There's a trend starting now. I suppose it's the same as a conversation we had earlier about like the meat and water conversation. Like people are slowly starting to wake up to it and incorporate. Like Spur has a vegetarian selection now. I do think that as Microsoft, which is really cool, it's this big company pushing it. Others are going to have to start waking up. But Sony's going to have to start doing it. Ubisoft, EA, all these other big game companies are going to have to start thinking about all their games and including all of them.
And you can see it in a Microsoft perspective. I think it was Gears of War 5, because there's two guys I follow on Twitter, Steven Spoon, who's a big advocate for accessibility in games in the States, and Ian Hamilton, who writes like articles and does consulting for some game firms on how to make their games more accessible. And they were both talking about how amazing the control options in Gears of War 5 were in terms of how it gives players options to play the game they want. Like it took out like screen shaking from sprinting. You could replace certain button prompts that would otherwise be mashes with holds. You could extend you could do something with the active reload, which requires like a very quick reflex. You could do something to make that easier for you to hit and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts blending into these are accessibility features that affect the way the game plays.
Yeah.
And people, so our person who asked the question obviously says that they don't believe games should be made easier. And I'm not going to argue and say that that's a wrong opinion. That's definitely your opinion to take, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I think there is ways in most cases to preserve the kind of experience you want people to play without impacting those who want to have it, the intended. So like Dark Souls, hard mode, whatever. People always like, we should have difficulty settings. And people are like, well, that's going to ruin the game. And I don't really understand that argument, because it's like, you can still play the game the way developers intended. They could default the game to its default difficulty and you'll never know. Maybe, they only put the settings in like a settings menu that you have to go find, whatever. But I think it comes in when people are like, oh, but that takes away the idea of, oh, I beat this Dark Souls because now you can do it on easy. And I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm all for including accessibility in the note that he said, like, a screen reader is a very simple,
100%, yeah.
Well, not a simple thing, but it's like an option that developers could put in that would now make games accessible to a lot more people. Okay. But I also like the idea of making games, not like it will make games easier for certain people, but I like it that it makes games that people might not have otherwise played or finished.
Yeah, exactly.
Accessible to them. So like Celeste is a perfect example of, I want everyone I know to play Celeste, but I know a lot of people won't because it is difficult. But the fact that they have the option to go, like I'll say to Lenska, like, play Celeste, there's a really cool story here, I think you'll really appreciate it. She can go to the menu and be like, okay, I need to slow the game down by 10, 20, 30%, whatever she needs to, like, make it through. I can give myself extra jumps. I can make myself invulnerable. It's like cheat codes, but it doesn't detract from my experience. I played the game as intended. I finished the game as intended, but I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe she's going to play it that way.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't take away from me at all.
And Matt Thorsten, the designer of Celeste, basically said the same thing. He's like, we've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours designing these levels to pinpoint precision, so that they work to a level that, you need fast reflexes and forethought and stuff like that. And then we've included these options that just break all of our hard work. And he's like, that's not my decision to make.
Yeah.
He basically said that it is folly for a designer to dictate how a game should be played by its players. Players should be doing that.
Yeah.
So it's not his job to say, you have to play in this way. And I thought that was really interesting from the designer point of view, because everyone seems to argue that, we must allow designers to preserve the original vision.
Yeah.
And that's always allowed. Like, if that wasn't the case, we would not be getting games like Dark Souls and Sekiro, which still don't have difficulty options, which, fine, people have opinions about it, but they as designers are allowed to do as they will with that, in the same way that Matt Dawson's allowed to say, that's not how I view it. So it's an interesting discussion, and I think it's difficult. But I do think if you separate difficulty out of it, just accessible options, I don't think there is an excuse for a game not to ship with some effort into putting accessibility options into it.
Gobsmacked that some games today ship and they don't give you the ability to even change your control scheme.
Yeah, to even map buttons, which is like the most basic thing.
I mean, I'm not a programmer, but I can't imagine it's that difficult.
It's not that hard. It's really not that hard.
Give me the ability. I want my jump to be on this button. It's like, nope, this is how it is. Sorry.
It baffles me, especially because I played ukulele fairly recently, the Impossible Lair. It's made in Unity. Now, I've developed games in Unity. It's not hard.
So easy.
It's not hard. Like, it's work. Yeah, 100% it's work. But it's not difficult. Like, if you really wanted it to be there, you'd get it in there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But thank you for the question. That was really cool.
Question.
And let us know how that... keep us informed on games that you think are really cool.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear if any of you can reach out to us and tell us, maybe it's another DM or something, like what sort of games do you play? Just as a matter
and what
of
sort of games are really have the options that you wish you could see in other games.
Yeah.
Because these are things that we think about the obvious ones, but there's a lot that I don't think about.
Educate me. I don't know. So I'd be curious.
There's that really cool. There's a Street Fighter pro who's blind.
Oh yeah.
Sven,
yeah.
I don't know where he's from now,
But he plays just based purely on sound.
It's unbelievable. It's so impressive.
Jeez, like,
and he's like extremely
really
good.
Yeah.
Like extremely good.
That's crazy.
He's from Brazil, maybe? I don't know.
It seems to ring a bell.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question on Twitter from someone called Snyder Cut or Death at Bentipede.
Thanks for messaging.
Well, I feel disappointed getting the Switch Lite instead of stumping up the extra few grand for the proper Switch.
Oh, is he asking?
Yeah.
Oh.
She. I don't actually know. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, he or she. We won't judge.
She.
To me, it's a simple question. Do you ever think you're going to play it on the TV?
Yeah.
Because that's the only difference.
Because look, the Switch Lite is great. It really is. It's lighter than the OG Switch. It's got better battery. Well, better battery life. If you're not
the new Switch also has better batteries. So.
But if you are gonna be plugging into the TV, so like someone like me, if I didn't stream on my Switch, chances are I could get by with the Switch Lite because honestly, I played 99% in handheld mode.
But the Switch Lite doesn't even do video out.
It doesn't do video out. Yeah, so I would need the OG Switch because I'm streaming Mario Maker and all of that. And like you play more. I
play a lot on the
docked
TV
than you do.
Yeah, I play a lot.
So it's really a question of are you going to dock to the TV or not?
Yeah.
If not, the Switch Lites will save you a couple of grand. Performance otherwise is exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the same process. Games somewhat look even better on the Lite just because of the
smaller screen.
The smaller screen, so it looks a bit crisper because it's the same resolution. But you don't have to worry about, the Lite is going to underperform. It's not like a 3DS new 3DS issue. It's the same thing.
Yeah, we've spoken about it. Like, maybe they shouldn't have called it the Lite. Cause
I think the marketing's very, very confusing.
There's this misconception, like, therefore it's like a inferior
I've
console,
seen so many people make that mistake. They're like, how much less powerful is the new Switch Lite? It's like, it's not. It's
light as in it's lighter.
And that just shows you Nintendo's messaging was just poor around it. So, But I think if there's even a doubt in your mind that you might want to play it on your TV, I think it's well worth getting the OG Switch. But if you are certain, like you will never play it, never dock it, there's no reason to spend 3,000 Rand more on the bigger Switch. Yeah. Especially when the ergonomics of the Lite are a lot better.
Yeah.
So,
okay, let's bounce to mix quickly. What are we on there? Oh, God, we're out of time here. Yo, Comrade Pliskin Chekovich.
Oh, like Snake Plissken?
Yeah, Snake Plissken. Do you keep your old consoles or sell them off to buy new consoles? Isn't storage space a concern for you guys? Do you pack it all away or have it all plugged in?
So I used to sell consoles and I regret my life.
Yeah, I must say, I think you're on the same page where I never sold. I had a PS1. I never sold it. I just don't know what happened to it. Okay.
Your mother threw it in the bin.
Maybe, I don't know. The stuff that went missing. But I'm at a point in my life now where like I don't want to sell my consoles. So I have my PS3. It's in a box. I haven't touched it in years, but I've got it. For one day I might want to crack it out and be like, let's have a look at this thing. When the PS5 comes out, I can tell you now I'm not going to sell my PS4. I'll put it in a box, keep it for whatever, future my kids or just for me 10 years, 20, 30
when
years.
When TVs don't have HDMI ports.
I know, beam it to our eyeballs and it's
What was HDMI? What was AV?
I still have my original DS. I've got the 3DS. I've got my PSP. I've got my Vita. Those are smaller though.
You don't have your PSP. I have it.
You've got my PSP. Don't lose it. Getting the eyebrows here. But yeah, I'm going to keep them. It's like, imagine, I think you and I both think of the same thing. Like, imagine we had the NES. It would have been such a cool thing to have today.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm hoping in 10, 20 years from now, I can look back. People will be like, oh man, I wish I had a PS3. And I'm like, I have one. You know?
I used to sell them just to fund the purchase. But in recent years, I've actually started buying back some old consoles, which has really cost me some money. But like I bought an old PS3 back so I could have one. The other day I bought a PS Vita so I could have another one. I need to find a PSP. I've still got my original, the OG first Xbox, the black green box, which apparently I need to open up because I read an article saying that there's a capacitor in there.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and this happens for all electronics. So if you're like, if you're storing old consoles, you should seriously look at the lifespan of the electronics in there. And it's easy enough. And you open it, clip a capacitor, and just solder in a new one. But if you don't do that, that thing fucking explodes and destroys the main motherboard. So yeah, I need to do that. I've got my 360 still. I bought a Wii U really late in.
I've still got my Wii.
I still got my old
got the Wii.
Xbox 360, the white one.
Yeah.
That doesn't even have HDMI.
It's that old.
Yeah.
Damn. What a time to be alive.
Go to 3DS. Yeah. It's I try to keep as much as I can. Yeah. Nowadays.
At the end of the day, like even in 10, 20 years from now, if we have a few consoles, it's not going to take that much place.
And I think if you're talking about like, will I need my PS4 to play my PS4 games? Sony's being really strangely coy about backwards compatibility, which makes no sense to me, because if they come out and say, oh, we can only do backwards compatibility for some games, I think they are in a fucking terrible position.
Yeah,
because Microsoft's already like, hey, your old controllers will work on this new console and your games and this and that. Sony really needs to like start figuring out what the hell it's doing around that stuff. So
damn.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What, dear Cracker Pen Carnival?
Crackers now, Jesus.
What non-standard, maybe unique accessories do you have for your consoles? I got an 8-bit due to use on my Switch so that a PlayStation 4 Xbox One controller can be used on it. The Pro controller...
I didn't know they did that. That's cool.
Yeah, I also had no idea.
Oh, shit.
The Pro controller is so pricey, starting at 1,300 and climbing up to 1.5.
Yeah. It's a nice controller, but it's not worth that money.
So nice.
I'm sorry.
Even though the PS4 Xbox One controllers are at 1,000 Rand and special editions are 1,113, it can be easily found secondhand at 600 Rand or below.
Yeah, controllers have become obscenely expensive.
The Joy-Cons, 1,400 Rand for the pair.
And I really want the purple and orange ones, but I can't justify them. I can't. I bought a Pro controller on special that I'm really happy about, but like when I see a lot of people don't, like you don't have,
I don't have one.
I 100% get it, because that's so much money for it.
The thing is, like the Joy-Cons probably aren't the most ideal controllers, but they work.
Yeah, they work.
I finished Celeste with them.
Which is crazy.
That is the test of the trial that I survived. So
man, that D-pad on the Pro controller would have helped you so much. You have no idea.
Yeah, maybe I would have finished the game in half the time.
Yeah, maybe.
But the point is, it worked. So I don't have any
unique
fancy accessories. I've got. The only thing I could say is like I've bought an Xbox One controller to play PC games. But other than that, I don't have any fancy adapters or controllers. Look, I'd love to have a SCUF controller, for example, or an Xbox Elite controller, but I don't need it.
Coming out, and I'm seriously.
It looks really nice, but I don't need it. That is like a complete luxury that I don't need.
Yeah, no, it is a luxury for us. But I reviewed that original Elite controller for a few months, and
beautiful.
I fell in love with it. It's such a good controller.
And they took it away. You're like, no,
I was so sad.
My child.
I do have see-through Joy-Cons, which I didn't essentially buy, but I did mod. So I guess that's fancy. Those are fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those are beautiful though.
Up, but yeah.
Shh, don't tell anyone. Good morning, Kloof Pantanal Chang. Jeez, these names.
Kloof.
What are your thoughts on the large majority of retail stores skipping Halloween in favor of a 3-month Christmas campaign?
Oh, good Lord. I wish we had bigger Halloween stuff here.
Yeah, we don't really celebrate Halloween, so I guess that they have every right to just skip over it. I'm not
already Christmas shit.
I'm not a fan of the 3-month Christmas stuff. I'm like, it's October for crying out loud. Like, why is there Christmas stuff happening?
They just got to sell those mince pies from day one.
Mince pies.
I wish we had a bigger Halloween presence. I look at how it's hosted in the States and it makes me jealous. I saw this really cool TikTok video today, which is turning into like the new Vine.
Oh boy.
Some lady taking her black cat to a pet store to try out Halloween costumes. They bought a taco cat suit. So cute.
That's amazing.
So cute. I loved it so much.
Meow.
Yeah. I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. We have more questions, but we are out of time. We are grossly over time.
You're gross.
Your face is gross.
How many do we have?
I think it's 3 more.
Oh dear Lord. Okay, let's bank them.
We'll bank them.
Yeah, if it was just like one more, then
Megs actually sends us another one this month. We've got a backlog, Megs. You like our shameless pile of backlog games?
I mean, to be fair, if we didn't have like a 20-minute intro, we would have got to them.
Yeah, we diverged a lot.
My bad.
But it's fun. It's Checkpoint Chat. That's what we do.
It's Checkpoint Chat. And if you want to get your messages read on the show, hopefully. Message us at Checkpoint Chat on Twitter. DM's always open. Checkpoint Chat on Instagram as well. checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us. And facebook.com/checkpointchat.
That's it.
Have you figured out that the show's called Checkpoint Chat yet? You should have by now.
Checkpoint Chat.
If you're confused. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know what we're going to do now, because we're meant to record another episode, but time is...
We'll record a special 10-minute episode.
Yeah, because
Hello.
Maddie's going to be away in the Midlands next week for a wedding.
A wedding.
And then, I don't know where you are the weekend after. You haven't told me.
I'm not going anywhere after. It's just next weekend.
Oh, okay.
You'll see.
Okay. And then I'm away...
You're away.
India.
I know that I'm away. You're away.
3rd of November to the 9th of November. So the 3rd is a Sunday, so we can still record that Saturday.
Record that, yeah.
And then I arrive back on a Saturday evening. So if you really want, we can record Sunday. So we don't have to miss that.
We'll see.
Do you know I'm flying after the Soweto Marathon?
Yeah, I'm going to die. I haven't really trained for it.
Even me. No, wait, I thought you weren't doing it.
No, I am, yeah. So I'm going to die.
Okay.
Yeah.
21Ks, man. I haven't run a 21K since last Soweto Marathon.
I've been doing half marathons and my weekly runs have been very short, so I don't have the mileage quite. So it's going to be an interesting time. I'm going to die.
If it's as hot
like,
as this.
Yeah, if it's this weather, I'm going to cry.
Because last year was hot. I died. Lenska beat me last year. She destroyed me.
Highly competitive.
Is she running it this year?
No, not this year, no.
Loser.
Leaving me
See,
to
she
die
quits
by
while she's
myself.
ahead. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'd do the same.
Yeah, but we'll make a plan. I know there's weekends we AFK. We'll make
AFK.
away from
Away from
AFP,
keyboard.
Away from podcast. No.
AFP. AFP.
Oh wait. Yeah, AFP. Yeah, away from podcast. Let's just end this episode.
Okay, bye.
Bye.